This is the third masterclass which Plant-Based Foods Industry Association is organizing. I'm very proud to do that. My name is Sanjay Sethi. I'm the Executive Director of Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. This association has been in existence for a little less than 1.5 years, and we have more than 100 members now. And very proud to present this masterclass on texture, which is sponsored by Brenntag. Brenntag was also the sponsor for the big event which took place during AHAR last month. And during that, Honorable Union Minister of Agriculture, Shri Narendra Singh Tomar, had graced the occasion. Ernst & Young had come out with a report which was unveiled there. And since then, it has become one of the largest downloaded document online. Requesting Narhari to kindly post the link to download all the reports. This was the fourth report which was published. Also requesting Medha to kindly tell our partners Rinab to kindly join online, who would come up with the next report, which will be during our summit on 25 May at La Meridian Hotel, Windsor Place in New Delhi. There are two La Meridian, one in Gurugram, one in Delhi. So last time, I think 1 or 2 people reached Gurugram, and then from there they had to travel back. So this time on 25 May, kindly come to New Delhi, La Meridian Hotel. This event is going to be a huge event, much bigger than the first plant-based food summit, which happened last year, or almost on the same day, that is 26 May. This time it's on 25 May. It's a Thursday, a weekday. And as earlier, there will be government participation, investors participation in the form of a separate room where the investor pitches will be organized. So startups will come out with those pitches. There will be another room for conference. There will be 2 big rooms for the exhibition, huge halls, and then the whole of lobby also. There will be live cooking show so that we can show the live cooking of some of the plant-based foods items. You have the opportunity to provide your ingredients or your products to be displayed there. Apart from this, there will be an award ceremony. We are going to circulate a link today, so please stay there. And if you want to be nominating yourself for the awards and for the category that you think. Apart from this, we are also welcoming people like Romane to be on our jury panel, help us decide who would win the awards. It will be a totally independent, highly respectable jury, which will be deciding the awards. I did a mistake by telling all of you that I'm inviting Romane. I should have invited her privately. I don't want her to be inundated with that people canvass themselves to be winning the awards. So we will keep the jury names confidential. I mean, the rest of the jury names confidential till the time the awards are actually given out. And apart from that, we would also make sure that tastings are organized so that you can provide your products, amazing products, for live tasting. There will be about 2,000 to 2,500 high quality delegates, including investors, government, restaurant owners, distributors, retailers, retail companies, corporates, and potential suppliers and customers. So large number of such potential business partners will be there. There'll be B2B meetings which will be organized. We would want to make sure that when you come there, you go back richly rewarded by everybody, and everyone goes back richer. And that's the objective of the second plant-based food summit. There's an excellent team which had organized Plant-Based Food Summit, the first edition. The same team is going to organize the second edition. And this time it's going to be all the halls in La Meridian. So last time we told you to enter from Janpath so that you can go directly to the Sovereign 1 and 2. But this time we are saying you come from any of the halls or from the main lobby, whichever entrance you take, come to the ground floor, which looks like a basement, but it's actually a ground floor. Which looks like a ground floor. So from the Janpath, you enter directly on the ground floor, and from the lobby, when you come, you have to take the stairs down. So these are whichever hall you will see, and also in the open area as well as in the lobby area is going to be a massive and huge, but only people from the plant-based foods industry. Only the members. The entire event is by invitation only. It is not a consumer event. It is B2B event. So we want you to have quality conversations with everybody, and please travel from all over because it's an international event happening. Lot of international ghost buyers would be there. It would look like maybe, the international delegates, and some of them may look like even Indians because they have come from outside the country, but they are Indians. So you will not know how important they are. But attending this event, which costs nothing, it's virtually zero cost for members. Your tastings, zero cost. Display on the table, zero cost. Your flyer into the delegate bag, zero cost. You want to put a standee, zero cost. You want to put anything on the audio, zero cost. You want a speaker invite, and you think that you deserve it, kindly reach out to us, and nobody charges anyway for the speaker cost. So it has to be zero cost only for everybody, for all the conferences, and so is here. And then if you get the award, no cost to you. If you want to be a jury member, you're welcome. Then you cannot apply for the award in that category if you are a jury member. And then we also want to make sure that we will not provide any advantage to anyone in terms of getting the awards. We also want to ensure that you go back richer. If you think that you have got nothing, we might invite some of you to be giving away the awards. And we want to ensure that everybody is able to display properly their activities. And we have some attractive sponsorship opportunities also. Those who want some extra attention. For example, they want their logo to be placed somewhere. They want a booth, which is possible, and not a table, but a booth, so which is possible. And some of you maybe want to just help the association to do the awards properly. We have the partner there, which is 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐫𝐚. We have another partner, which is Brenntag. We have another partner, and this list of partners is very, very long, and we will be announcing that shortly. And those who want to play any role, I would say book the halls, book your booths as fast as possible. Before I call my team member, can I first request the team from Brenntag, who are the sponsors of today's masterclass, to kindly identify yourself and say a few words, starting with Ramkumar.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whichever part of the world we are all from. It's good, first and foremost, being part of this session, and Brenntag takes the pride to sponsor and have a learning curve along with all the participants and all the presenters today in this forum. Thanks, Sanjay, for a continued investments and dedication that PBFI has been doing in this plant-based space, though we all are aware that today it is all an investment area for us for the long term reaping the benefits, and we are all committed to this, and we are together working towards it, and look forward. And I leave from here for the team to introduce themselves and take forward. Yeah, thank you, Sanjay.
One more thing, Ramkumar. Can you please tell
Yeah.
us what does Brenntag do? Because people were
Uh,
asking,
yeah,
does the
yeah,
Brenntag is
yeah. Yeah,
into
I don't
air?
want to. Yeah, I don't want to jump into that because my colleague Lokesh is having a 4 slide or maybe 5 minutes of presentation on Brenntag, and then our principal COSUCRA will take on the product offerings. So let me hold my enthusiasm to share that. I will leave Lokesh to do that. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you.
Okay. So before I go further, requesting Medha, Aditi, and Naren to introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this masterclass. This is the third series that we are doing, and I think it's going to be quite amazing to listen from people who have mastered basically the texture, and they have actually have told us that how we can have a great product from the research and from the experimentation they could do throughout their journey. So it's great to listen from them and to learn from them specifically. I'm personally looking forward. I am a part of PBFIA and I'm working with this organization as senior manager. We're handling different activities. Right now, we're concentrating on the second plant-based food summit. The link for the summit is there in the chat box as well, where you can register, you can participate as an exhibitor there, and of course, as a delegate. So I look forward that we will be meeting in person very soon on 25th of May. Thank you so much.
Aditi.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Aditi Sharma. I work here as a senior manager. I'm originally based out of Mumbai, but I'm here again for the summit that Sir and Medha mentioned. So we are all very excited about it. Today's webinar, like Mr. Ramkumar said, it is an investment to our future, and it requires visionaries to realize that. And I think even today, people coming together, Brenntag sponsoring the event, people from various companies coming together and speaking. This is rare. And this is something that India needed, right? Because every one of you have your own strengths. And it is important that we come together to showcase it. We come together as a community to take us forward. And everyone eventually will get their good share of business, of taking things forward. So that is a realization which I think Sir brought into us, because the usual master classes are usually one or two people. But Sir said that we need to bring in everyone together and take the community forward. And in the past two master classes, we've seen the impact where we see people coming in hundreds, and everyone eager to listen to the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that everyone here has. We are very excited for that. And we are excited for the summit as well, because that will be everything of this in person, all the interactions in the conference in person, B2B meetings in person, and the exhibition as well. Along with that, the investors pitch session, which we're calling the Shark Tank style session, where you get to pitch in your own business. So we'll share the link shortly. We hope all of you register and tell us if you want to join in as an exhibitor, as part of the awards. And we really look forward to this webinar as well as the summit. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Narahari Gupta.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Narahari Gupta, and I'm working as an innovation specialist at the Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. To give you a quick brief about the association who are new to these webinars, we are a CEO-led body, and we currently have 125 members. And all of these companies are basically from the plant-based foods industry. Some are ingredient manufacturers, some are final products manufacturers, brands such as Creamness, 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐫𝐚𝐤𝐝, Symrise, AAK, Brenntag, and so on. So we basically promote the agenda of plant-based foods all across India as well as the globe. We are also a part of International Plant-Based Foods Working Group. We are the founding members of this group, where there are associations from all across the globe, and we again work towards promoting the agenda of plant-based foods. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, so now I think Indra can come in. Indra, you have a presentation also?
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you everyone for joining us in this afternoon, and welcome to the masterclass on texture of plant-based meat. And myself, Indra, and I'm working at a PBFIA as innovation specialist. I'm a food technologist, and today I will give you a small presentation on the texture of plant-based meat. And before we introduce our speakers and hear from our speakers as well, so please let me know when you see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Not yet.
Not yet.
देखो चेक कर इधर
Yes, Indra.
Yes, sir. Is my screen visible? I'm not sure.
No, not yet. You want to start
Is it
without?
visible now?
So I have your presentation. Okay, now it's visible. Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Yes. A very warm welcome, everyone. So this masterclass, we are very excited to have Brenntag as our sponsors. And first, I just want to let you know that I think you guys must have known, but I would like to emphasize on this slide once again that we are currently in a very small market. The plant-based foods market will see exponential growth, and we all have to be ready to cater to that sort of a demand. So for that, we all have to come together to make sure that we provide the best solutions to our consumers, which is one major aspect of it is identifying and replicating the exact texture of meat. So right now we are at over 2000 crores market in India, but we are expected to see 40,000 crores very shortly, and we actually anticipate it to be even earlier than 2032. So we have to be ready. So which is exactly why with Sir's vision, we have organized this Innovation Masterclass series, and we hope that you all benefit from this series and this session as well. Just a very small brief of what is the technology behind plant-based meat. First, there are two different aspects of it. One is the ingredient itself, which can be plant protein isolates, concentrates, or even hydrolysate, which can be produced by various technologies. And I think many of you must have already known, but all these technologies, which is isoelectric precipitation, membrane technology, enzymatic technology, and also air classification, all these methods gives you different types of isolates or concentrates, which have different functional properties, and which in turn affects the final texture and also the quality of plant-based meat that you get. So it is very important to choose the right ingredient, and I think we have a lot of solution providers like Brenntag themselves here who will help you identify such solutions. And the next is we move to texturization. So once you have identified your right protein ingredient, then we move to the texturization part, which is we have different technologies, which is like extrusion, shear cell technology, 3D printing, electrospinning. But we all know the most common technology is
आज क्या है मालूम है इंडिया में जीरो सैटरडे
नहीं सर कल
the
Yes, Indra, I think you can continue.
You're on mute, Indra. Indra, you're on mute.
Is somebody muted to
Indra?
all?
Indra, we cannot hear you.
Indra?
You're on mute.
Indra, you are on mute, Indra.
Okay, sorry about that. So I hope all of you can hear me now and also
Yes.
see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
So the most
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. So the most common technology right now in the market is again twin screw extrusion. But we also have really revolutionary startups like 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐫𝐚 themselves, who will also be speaking today, who have 3D printing and which also helps you create really unique texture. So this is a very basic slide as to how this entire plant-based meat is being produced. So first, like I mentioned, we have to identify the right raw material. So soybean is one of the most like commonly used ingredient in this space right now, and there are multiple reasons as to why they are used. One, basically, they have higher protein content, and the other is again they have a lot of uh, like desired functional properties, like the gelling ability, which also helps you to form this good mouth feel, so deliver the flavor. And also we have water holding capacity and emulsification ability, and all these functional properties of soy and also other pulses, of course, make them more desirable. So one ingredient is of course more desirable than the others, which is exactly why you have to really know what is the end goal that you have to achieve. And first you take these raw materials, and then you mill these into a flour, and then after you remove the fat, then you use them to create protein isolates or concentrates. And one of the most unique technology which is also scalable and also help you develop clean label solutions is the membrane technology. And if you are interested in being a part of this value chain, you are most welcome to approach us, approach sir or anyone of the team to join hands with us as a stakeholder in our plant-based, the protein cluster project, which basically is the 12 clusters across India that we have identified, which will help India establish as one of the leading plant protein hubs, a global supplier of plant proteins to the world. So once we develop these protein isolates or concentrates, then is the actual texturization part that comes into play. So you have texturized vegetable protein and also high moisture meat analogs. So you can use adaptable hybrid extruders for that is one of the most revered knowledge technology as of now. And you use these to produce your texturized vegetable protein and high moisture meat analogs, which basically helps you to modify your native protein structure, which is globular, into something like the fibrate, which is more meat-like. So the protein denatures and the globular protein unfolds first, and then it gets it aligns in line, and then it also aggregates, which is finally when you cool the dye, which is in the extended cooling dye, hydrogen disulfide hydrogen bonds form, and these bonds help give you this ultimate meat-like texture. And of course, once you have this, then the possibilities are endless. You can make various products which can cater to your target market. And like sir and the rest of the team mentioned, we have our very grand summit that is coming up on 25th of May in Hotel La Meridian in New Delhi. And we have opportunities for all of you, regardless of what actually you do. So in case you're a startup, we also have investors who are coming. If you're trying to build your brand, then we have exhibition to help you achieve that. And we also have panel sessions for you to share your knowledge. And we also have a live chef demonstration that will be going on during the day, which can help you also identify various application use cases for your products. And the possibilities and the opportunities are endless in this summit, and we all encourage you to be a part of it. And there is going to be also a huge award ceremony, and like sir mentioned, we'll also be dropping a link in the chat box. Keep an eye out for that, and do nominate yourself or nominate who do you think is the best in business right now in India. So thank you so much. We really look forward to your active participation, and I think that will be the end of the presentation. And I leave it to sir to take it on from now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we have to go through the agenda, and first of all, I would like to invite Lokesh MA. He's the business manager at Brenntag. Brenntag is the sponsor of today's event, and Brenntag was also the sponsor during AHAR, the conference that we did, the entire activity. And Brenntag is also supporting the second plant-based food summit, which is on 25 May. So thank you very much, Brenntag, for sponsoring it. And the first speaker also happens to be Lokesh from Brenntag. And we have about 100 people in the room. Looking forward to hear you, Lokesh.
Thank you, Sanjay. I just have a small little presentation introducing Brenntag. I hope you can see this.
Yes, but we cannot see you.
Oh, okay. Give me a minute. So now is it okay?
Perfect, perfect.
Thank you. So thanks PBFIA for giving this opportunity, and my greetings to my co-speakers and the audience for participating today. I will just quickly take you through what is Brenntag and what do we do, so that you all get a glimpse of who we are, and that also lays the kind of some kind of a platform for us to interact in the future. So Brenntag is a global distribution company. We are a German-based company, #1 globally in distribution. And diving a little bit into Brenntag India. So Brenntag India is part of Brenntag Global. We have a turnover of roughly about 86 million euro as of 2022. So Brenntag India, we service close to 1,500 customers through our 970 products, and we are associated with about 280 suppliers. This again data as of 2022. And in India, we have 7 business units, and in which food or the nutrition is the one that we come from, and the plant-based application is also something that we work quite intensely. Across the country, we have 8 warehouses through which we service our different customers, and 3 sales offices: Mumbai, Gurgaon, and in Bangalore. Apart from the sales office, we also have 3 application labs, one for nutrition, which is based out of Mumbai. We also have an analytical lab, which is based out of Gurgaon. And we also have application labs for personal care and material sciences. So Brenntag in India, we have about 131 employees, out of which 42 are are in sales roles, 8 are in customer service roles, and 16 supply chain employees, out of which 9 are in the warehouses. And we, of course, do deliveries right from truckloads to even part loads shipments. So that talks about the scale of customers whom we service. So we service the large customer and also those small customers who require small truckload ship to be shipped. I just want to highlight from a sustainability perspective here that we have our first greenhouse, which will become operational about in a month's time up there in Sonipat. Yeah, so quick glance of the location of our different operations. So the green dot are the ones where our warehouse is located. So the idea of having a warehouse in multiple location is that we need to be close to our customers and the reach should be such that they are serviced within 8 hours from our nearest warehouse. The red dot, the Mumbai, that is where we are. We have our head office for India, and these are the sales offices. The application lab is in Mumbai and here in Gurgaon. A glimpse of into our application lab in Mumbai. So if you look at it, we have we can do almost all applications in terms of prototype development, ingredient ingredient application, and so forth. And we service the different applications like the dairy that we can do in our lab, beverages, bakery. We have a full-fledged bakery line. Dairy, just to highlight, we have a pilot UHT facility in our Mumbai application lab. Then we also do confectionery trials, meat and seafood, out of which plant-based becomes a part of this entity, and sauces and seasoning applications. So if I have to kind of little bit explain about the application lab or the activities that we do there. So we can bucket it under 3 parts. The ingredient selection comes the first, where we kind of evaluate in different ingredients, their suitability in the different applications, both in terms of actual usage and also in terms of the processing requirements. Then we also work on formulation guidelines. We develop recipes. We do formulation testing, troubleshooting of the same, and the registration of those formulations. Then the third pillar, which we work in our application lab, is also the knowledge transfer that we do to our customers. And this knowledge transfer can be in multiple ways. So we do customer innovation days. We conduct technical training, focus group meetings at our customers. We publish application bulletins and also kind of highlight the market trends. We are also, okay, this is not relating to application per se, but we also quite actively participate in events like FI and Vita Foods and now the plant-based exhibition. Yeah, so a little bit of glimpse into the kind of offerings. So the x-axis and the y-axis talks about, so the x-axis talks about the ingredients that we offer, the category of ingredients, and the y-axis talks about the different application that we service. So if you look at it, it's kind of almost a full page where something or the other, or I should say a lot of ingredients that goes into different applications that normally are there in the food applications. So talking specifically about the plant-based solutions that we have from Brenntag. So we have about 6 different offerings. First one is the carrageenan that we kind of service the industry with. Then we have the pea proteins. Then we have the pea fiber, then yellow pea pre-gelatinized flour, the textured pea, and the enzymes. These enzymes are largely for plant-based beverages like oat milk and those kind of applications. Yeah, thank you so much. With that, we also have our partner, one of our suppliers, key suppliers, COSUCRA, who will also be taking you through some of their offerings for plant-based application. Thanks, Sanjay. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Lokesh. I just wanted to ask you that if people have to reach out to you, how do they reach out to you? Can you mention your contact details in the chat box here?
I'll do that, Sanjay. Yes.
And also, when you come for the summit, in what way people can experience your products? Would you be providing your ingredients to some chefs so that they can cook something, or would you bring something and display on your booth?
So we are, Sanjay, we are working on both the fronts, and I think both ingredient offering as such, and also possibly some kind of prototype is also what we are thinking. So both the possibilities are there, Sanjay.
Okay. And do you also deal in soya isolates and soya concentrates?
Yes, we are working on that also.
Okay. Okay, so that means you have the complete range.
Yeah, we do have the full range.
And do you have any plan to do localization of your sourcing?
That's something which is in progress. I will not say that we are there yet, but that's definitely on our agenda, and that's work in progress. So
And,
as it comes, we will roll out. Yes.
Plant-Based Foods Industry Association is promoting setup of India's first plant protein cluster in Bhiwadi. That's
Okay.
an area where possibly Brenntag can be a partner or co-owner, or maybe even the part of the SPV. And this would mean that the local protein manufacturers can be your possible suppliers, and not just that, some other Indian ingredients like gums, like millets, or even soybean, or you can also import soybean from the US and process and keep the oil and take the protein out to the other countries. Would you like to consider utilizing Bhiwadi as one of your hubs? Can we get into a separate conversation on that?
Let's take this offline, Sanjay. Yeah, sure, we can definitely have a conversation and see how it all works out and what possibilities are there.
Thank you, Lokesh. Now,
Thank you.
I would like to invite Romane. Romane is the business development manager from COSUCRA in France. Romane, are you based out of Paris?
Romane has texted saying that her microphone is blocked.
Yeah, it seems that your microphone is blocked. Eh? How do we unblock it? Or maybe usually you can unblock the microphone. Should not be.
I just allowed the mic. Maybe now they can.
Hello. Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me?
But we can't see you. Yes, we can see
Okay.
you also.
Okay. I don't know why. It's just like my camera and my mic has been turned off by themselves, and I could not activate them.
Oh.
Sorry for that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this presentation. Should I share my screen?
Yes, please. And also introduce yourself first.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Romane from COSUCRA. So I'm business development manager. The purpose is to offer new opportunities for lots of food applications, but of course, plant-based savory applications as the subjects of today. So we are providing products which are locally sourced from Europe, 100%, from Belgium and from France. COSUCRA basically is a Belgium company based, so in the French-speaking part of Belgium. I'm French, but I'm based also in Belgium as the company is located there. And so we have two raw materials in COSUCRA that we are processing, and mostly the main one is from yellow pea, which has nice nutrients such as pea protein, pea fiber, etc.
And the second one is?
Chicory. We do like do you know chicory root?
Yes.
Yeah, they also have this.
Which goes into coffee.
Yeah, also part of the chicory can be used for chicory, for coffee, black part, but also for sugar replacement.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. You can show your presentation, Roman.
Sorry, I think somebody needs to allow me to share because it's also blocked.
Can you send the presentation over?
I think now you can present.
Okay.
Oh, thanks. Right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So I put it in big screen. So thank you once again, everybody, for this great invitation. It's really an honor to talk with you, to all of you actually, about the potential of COSUCRA ingredients into plant-based savory, and hopefully like we can find some solutions. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. We'll be delighted to answer. So as you mentioned, COSUCRA is a Belgian company which is processors for manufacturing ingredients, only ingredients for human food, but also for feed. And we are like actively present into plant-based applications since, I would say, few years already, because we saw the trend coming and it's coming more and more present now. So this is something that we are still actively working on. We understood, like, for, I would say, few years already, that plant-based ground meat or like other plant-based savory applications will show some technical challenges. First of all, you have to make sure whatever the product you want to make, if it's gonna be a nugget, a burger, or like a pate, something like that, a spread, you need to have binding properties which make sure you bring cohesiveness to the product. Somehow also, if you want to use the twin screw extrusion machine in the wet or dry processes such as TVPs or high moisture meat analogs, you are looking for ingredients which are suggesting nice vibration properties. When I mean vibration, it means like the capacity of making fibers made of protein actually. For this, of course, it's good that this is something we see like in Europe, but also coming from the US. Today, the consumer is looking for plant-based savory applications, which of course mimic the meat, the texture of the meat, but also who they can have nice protein content, because they also look for the nutritional profile, which is suitable for their diet, of course, because you should mimic, but you should also guarantee some nice nutritional profile. Also, shape retention is interesting because this is something we can see sometimes in some plant-based applications. The thing is, the water or the fat are not really well binded inside the burger or the nuggets. So what we should do, we should make sure that we avoid the cooking losses. You know, like when you cook the product, you have some losses and the shape is smaller. So in order to make it as stable as before, you know, without so much shrinkage, we should really care about shape retention thanks to some ingredients. And of course, the taste, this is something that we are really looking for here. So when we talk about texture, we should have cohesiveness between the components together. We are also looking for juiciness, because you need to have like these juicy feelings, not dry product, because dry product, trust me, like people, they don't like that. So they really need to work on this balance, and also some good bites also to make sure that we don't have too chewy, too sticky, or too firm. We need to find the right balance between all of this. I also would like to share you some insight about the plant-based proteins in the plant-based savory world. When we chart the new product launches globally, like in the world, coming year by year, we can see that the more and more plant-based savory proteins are now present in plant-based savory products. So because the producers are really like careful that we should put more protein functionality wise, but also nutritionally wise. This is a good balance between the texture and the nutrition. And you can see that from 2018, so we had like few players in proteins which were widely present, and we can see in green over there, like light green, that the pea protein has really increased, and now it's one of the top plant-based proteins used in plant-based applications, because first of all, pea protein is not listed as a major allergen compared to other proteins, but also because it shows very nice protein functionalities and also nice amino acids profile over there. This is basically the pea crop, so it's interesting because it's a sustainable crop compared to other pulses. I would say first of all the sourcing is local, so we got the pea raw materials from northern France, mostly because COSUCRA is based close by France borders, so it's very convenient. And we got them from a boat in order to reduce our environmental impact. This is what we are committed to. And we also have our windmill, sorry, I forgot to mention that, to make sure we can have our own electricity. This is something that we are looking for. And so we got this local sourcing in France. We saw that over there, the quality of the pea are very interesting. You have really high protein content inside and good starch and good fiber content inside over there. Also, the pea crop, you don't need to use nitrogen fertilization on it. So it's like very healthy and no need for irrigation. It won't cost so much water, like actually no water needed compared to others, because the pea has this capacity of binding the nitrogen from the air and some other gas, so it will grow by itself. Also, the pea in Europe are part of a European limitation program of pesticides. So this is really something that we are like involved like for years, like the contract we have with the farmers are really reducing the pesticides. This is also something we can deliver. The pea protein by itself, also it comes from a gentle process, which thanks to its unique process technology, the way we diffuse the pea protein is more gentle and we just protect the nutrients and it's not damaged, like really in a good shape the way we process it. And we don't use hexane, which is a chemical solvent, which is quite has some downside about the like I would say on the health and so on. So the hexane is used mostly, for example, for soy products, where because in pea protein, in order to get the pea protein, you don't have that much fat content in the pea bean, so you don't need to take the hexane compared to other pulses, for instance. We have pea protein, and the brand of the pea protein is called Pizane. This is the one we will suggest to go for plant-based applications. And as you can see here, it's pictures of product which we produced with our pea protein. So we are not concept producers, but we suggest concepts to give insight and ideas how to use our pea protein into different kind of plant-based savory products. So first of all, we can use this Pizane into emulsion and mixing and binding. Emulsions between water and fat together, you put a little bit of protein and you can bind a lot of this kind of emulsion. We have like 1 part of Pizane, 6 parts of water and 12 parts of vegetable oil. This is very optimum, I would say, ratio for emulsions. Then we can go also for texturizing, as Indra mentioned previously in her presentations. Indeed, there are several.
You are also giving any recommendation for vegetable oil? What kind of vegetable oil?
We can use rapeseed oil, canola oil, and also sunflower oil. For cocoa, the texture will be slightly different, but definitely like vegetable liquid form is also is working okay. But I would say solid form also working well.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Please continue.
Can you repeat the ratio for the emulsion?
1, 6, 12. So 1 part of pea protein, 6 parts of water, and 12 parts of fat.
Oil.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Please. Continue, Roman.
Yeah. We have also some texturized products, which are like, we can use the pea protein to create texturized product, as you can see over there. So we can use both dry extrusion, as you can see the TVP, and the HMMA, which is also called HME, wet extrusion in this regard, thanks to the pea protein. This is something that we can deliver today. We don't produce TVPs, but we can provide the isolate to go to extruder machine. Such as like this, for instance, you see. So this is 2 ways we can go with our pea proteins. We can see that for lower moisture content, you can have this kind of chunks, this kind of texture. Oh, sorry, I think the photo overlapped a little bit on the text, sorry for that. So just like we can have different chunks, different taste and different taste like bites, I would say, and different size, depends on what kind of texture you want to mimic. And also, if you want to go higher than 40% in the moisture content, you will definitely choose this kind of process. And thanks to the pea protein, you can produce this kind of HME, which are wet, I would say, stripes, which are mimicking chicken, for instance. This is also very interesting. Or like beef stripes, or even tuna flakes, fish flakes like that. If you want to do like canned tuna, this is also possible thanks to this technology and thanks to RAPzane.
And can you also explain to the audience the difference between HMMA and HME?
So basically, like HMMA means high moisture meat analog, and HME high moisture extrusion. So HME will be the process and HMMA will be the final product. But basically, this is the same thing, I would say.
Okay, great. Please continue.
Yeah.
Hello, madam.
So hello.
Yeah, in low moisture content of like extrusion products, all are snacks like products. Whether the all products are snacks like.
You will have to speak slowly. Please understand, okay. Because of the accent, the question may not be fully understood. Please speak slowly once again.
Yeah. Okay. In low moisture content products, all are like snacks like products.
So
you can also do like snacks.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, basically we use this for the TVPs here. It's a technology which has been used a lot in the past, especially for meat extension, if people wanted to reduce the cost, for example. But basically the process of dry TVPs, texturized vegetable protein, make this expansion, and this is also like crispies, I would say.
Can you also share the name of some product which has been brought in this category recently, or very popular product
with HME and TVPs?
Yeah, no, in the snacks category.
Oh, I don't have like names of that, but this is something that we are present for, like for rice crisp, for protein crispies, like some in bakery applications also. You know, like when you do some bars, you can use some protein crisps, or like the same as soy crisps, for instance.
Soy crisp.
Like the small ones you can see on top, you see like the granules. This is a bit the same process. It's just the die at the end and the size you will choose to cut. This will create the shape and the product, the kind of product you want to mimic afterwards.
So this soy crisp is being used for snacks.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to mute all, and then you can unmute yourself again, Romane.
Okay. Okay.
Please unmute yourself. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for your questions. Indeed, we can use like in two ways, as we just explained. So as I mentioned, the plant-based emulsions is also very important into plant-based savory applications, because sometimes we need to stabilize the fat and the water together, and we put them on top, for example, of TVPs, but we can also create plant-based sausages on emulsion based. So you create this kind of emulsion in the bowl chopper, and you can have vegetable plant-based frankfurters, as we call it, also like knacks, knacky, I would say, sausages plant-based. As I mentioned, PZane would be used thanks to its sustainability, but also the emulsifying capacities, which I mentioned earlier. Protein density will be interesting because in our pea protein, the dry matter basis, we have 85 to 86% of protein content, which is very important for the functionality. Higher you go with protein, first of all, you can use it as a label, like you can use as a protein enrichment, but also for the functionality it will have into the final application.
And you use these isolates through the chemical isolation process.
We use the pea isolate into extrusion processes, or you can use it directly in the plant-based dough, which is a mixing process. You can just use the powder. We don't need to do something special at the beginning, like pre-hydration and so on.
And this powder which you make it through the chemical process, or you do it through the filtration, like membrane filtration?
We don't have that, I would say. This is not what we use. Yeah.
Okay, but it comes through the chemical separation process.
Oh, you mean in our process?
No,
it comes from
the isolates that you said.
The isolate that we produce are coming from diffusion water process.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Thank you. Please continue.
Thanks. I was mentioning the taste, and this is something that we have to be aware of. So there is different ways to place on the pea taste, because sometimes people can be sensitive and can feel a little bit of pea taste, but you can play on that thanks to maskers or to flavors, and even on the process, actually. We saw that in plant-based emulsion, it helps to reduce the taste, but also in extrusion, if you want to reduce the taste of the plant-based protein, you will have a certain range of temperature to respect. If it's not hot enough, then the vegetable taste will come. You have to go higher for that in taste, but this is coming afterwards. But for emulsion-wise, you can just process it. And as I mentioned, for the texturized products, so indeed the protein content will be important, because the more protein you have, the more fibration and expansion you will have. And this is also less costly, like for the production, the energy, and etc., etc. And this is why pea protein is one of the most used with soy protein, plant-based protein on the market, thanks to the protein content, but also to the capacity of create emulsions, but also fibrations in this kind of process. And so the parameters of the extruders will really depends from a protein to another. So please make sure that if you want to try pea protein, that you set you don't use the same parameters as soy, for example. This is something we have to adapt: the temperature, the scale, the pitch of the screw, etc., etc. But usually we would recommend up to 90% of pea protein content, our pea protein content in HME production. So in the blend, 90% of it can be used. In order to have the best texture, also we have a second product which is called the Swellite C, which is Swellite pea cell wall fiber, which is a pea fiber, internal fiber, which is, oh yeah, somebody is raising the hand. Hello?
Maybe we can take the questions in that. Please continue.
Okay, sorry. The pea cell wall fiber is very interesting because this is a functional insoluble fibers which can have very nice high water holding capacity. Our pea fiber can bind 10 parts of water for 1 part of swellite of fiber, actually. So 1 to 10, this is very functional, and this will have very interesting impact on the texture afterwards. This also helps to stabilize the water and the fat together if you want to create an emulsion. So earlier I was mentioning you can use the pea protein to create an emulsion, to emulsify it, but in order to stabilize it, to make it more stable and less sticky, we can use the Swellite pea cell wall fiber inside. The texture also will be unique because you will have a balance between the bite, the firmness, and the juiciness. We can say that it enhances the mouthfeel because you will have this nice juiciness which will come afterwards. And of course, thanks to the density, this, you can see the photo here. This is actually our pea fiber. Right. So when you use the pea fiber like that, we can just have, I would say, better storage conditions because the density is more tapped compared to other wheat fiber, for instance, or like cellulosic fibers. For this volume with Swellite, you have double with another one. So this is quite interesting for storage conditions also. As I mentioned, we have this like nice water holding capacity, which can help to make the burger like a sponge. Imagine you have the burger, you put Swellite, the pea fiber inside. The only way the burger will release the water will be in the mouth. It means like during the process, the water will stabilize inside the burger and reduce the stickiness outside the burger or the nuggets. So it will be very easier to manipulate and very easy to process. And even in the cooking process, it doesn't stick too much to the pan or to the snack machine. And also it's also very interesting to see that it reduces the cooking losses. And by this slide, actually here, I want to mention that some part of the pea fiber is starch content. Because as I mentioned earlier, we are using a gentle process in COSUCRA in order to not damage the nutrients. So what we choose to do is when we take the fiber, we leave the natural granules of the fiber stick to the fiber, and then we have like a natural mix of fiber and starch together, and this creates, in cold conditions, you will use the fiber, I would say the fiber binding capacity. And if you heat the product at 68 degrees, the starch granules will open and release the amylose, and you'd have a gelatinization, which is an additional buffer effect to the product. So we have nice water holding capacity in cold conditions, and in hot conditions, it's even better. Also, this will help the product to be more stabilized if you want to freeze and thaw a product. So for freeze-thaw stability, it will be more interesting to use a pea cell wall fiber in this to avoid the water synergies when you want to defrost the product. We tried our swellite in a burger, a plant-based burger with texturized pea protein inside. And this is the analytics that we got. We saw that it was less chewy and less liquid, I would say less soft. It was really harder and firmer texture thanks to the swellite. So it means like it really binds the components together. We reduced the cooking losses. So it means like it helps to get a very stable product, even on the global observation appearance, we could see that it was more stable, and we thought that it was like a good taste, good texture, and well balanced, while the control without fibers inside will be more aqueous and not firm enough. So if you want to get a stable product, you will use the pea cell wall fiber, which helps to get shape stability. So it will improve the yield and reduce the shrinkage. So the shape of the burger will be guaranteed. Then we'll use it also to improve the processability of the product by reducing the stickiness and bring more cohesiveness together. And if you want to get a tasty product, you will use it in order to improve the juiciness, to have a good mouthfeel, and it will have no impact on the taste because the pea fiber has no off taste, really no pea taste, no astringency, and so on. You can really use it as such, and you don't need spices or maskers to cover it. And this is an example of a plant-based burger that we developed with our both pea protein and our swellite C, that our pea cell wall fiber inside. So you could see that we could have nice protein content in the burger. We use like this one is like TVPs, 31%. Then we use HME, 16%. We use our pre-protein isolate also in the dough. Then our pea cell wall fiber together to make a nice texture and a nice burger production, like nice concept. Oh, that's it. Like it was my last slide. Do you have any questions about these ingredients?
There was one question in the chat box, and it was the swellite C, whether this ingredient can be utilized in cosmetics as well as food items.
For cosmetics, I would say that would be a little bit difficult because this one is insoluble fiber. Unfortunately, it's a bit coarse. So I'm afraid in this kind of like cream and so on, it might be too sandy. When you may feel it, it won't be smooth. It's not soluble fiber, unfortunately.
And there's another question in the chat box. What is the percentage of fiber and starch?
So it will be mostly around 50% of fiber in the swellite content. Then I think we have like 40% of starch inside, up to 40%. And then you can have a little bit of of proteins inside, but that basically that's like traces, I would say. So mostly 50% of fiber. So you won't use Swelite for fiber enrichment. This one is purely functional fibers, not nutritional fibers, unfortunately.
Okay, Sarva Prakash has asked what kind of vegetable used?
Sorry?
What kind of vegetables used?
In this application?
Maybe he would have meant vegetable oil. Which question was already asked?
Oh, okay. So in this one, we use canola oil, for example, but we use rapeseed and we can use also sunflower oil. Huh? There is no problem.
Okay, so if you're at the end of your discussion, we can go to the next speaker, Roman.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Roman. And it was a great
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
Yes, I would like to ask my team member. I can't see Amit Kher. Is he there? Bühler? Amit Kher, National Manager, Bühler. In the meantime, I also saw one hand up for Roman, I think. Sunil Vaidya and Tatiana. You can ask the questions very quickly.
Hi, thank you very much. I will then quickly go. I wanted to ask
Can
if
you
could.
can you switch on your video and identify yourself, please?
Oh, okay, I can. I'm just so sorry that my lighting is terrible because unfortunately my I don't know if you're going to be able to see me. It's my light broke and I need somebody to come and fix. So I apologize for the dark background. Anyways, thank you so much for the presentation. I worked with extrusion for a while. I've known.
And your name? You are from where, Tatiana?
My name is Tatiana. I am from Europe and Mexico, but I'm in Japan currently. And
you work for?
I work for a consultancy, biotech consultancy, not necessarily food. So
okay. Can you write your email ID in the chat box, please?
Yes, I will do that in a second. I'll just ask a question and then I will do
Yes,
that. That's fine.
Sure.
Okay,
sure,
thank you.
That's okay.
So my question is just related to flavoring. I know you quickly touched on this and how different temperatures, either too low or too high, can affect flavor. Could you explain a little bit more how, when you're doing extrusion, you avoid flavor being damaged, or how do you know or develop a process to get to the right flavor and make sure it's not affected too much?
Okay, thank you for your question. Actually, so it will depend on the range that the protein can support, actually. But usually in wet extrusion, we would not recommend to go higher than 150 degrees. Otherwise, the product might be too strong. It's just that we saw that if we use minimum 110 degrees for certain proteins, especially for pea proteins, it will avoid to have plant-based off taste, or it will reduce it, actually. But then it will depend, of course, for each proteins. Is that in our like I would say protein, in our case, we saw that 110 is really the minimum, and it's better to go higher than that.
Thank you very much.
And there's another Tatiana, please write your email. And there's another question. So in fact, I also wanted to ask, can we use soybean oil, refined soybean oil? The question from Ravi Kirti is that canola rapeseed oil may have its own flavor. So does it not affect the flavor profile of the particular product?
For canola oil, we didn't see any off taste on this one, so it was not an issue. The flavors also and the spices that we use in the burger, like from big aromas and flavors players, I would say, in the world can works really good, as they know to work a lot with pea proteins and so on. But actually, the canola oil didn't show any off taste. And also soy oil, it's unfortunately not something that we use that much in Europe, so we didn't have the chance yet to experiment it. So, but I think that you can try it possibly, because we don't think that should have an issue.
Okay, thank you very much, Roman.
Thank you.
Thank you for your detailed explanation. Personally, I felt, I got a lot of knowledge through this conversation, and I hope that everybody enjoyed listening to you. Thanks a lot, and please do come to the second plant-based food summit on 25 May. And in addition to the sponsorship that we have received from Brenntag, we would also very welcome your sponsorship as well, and we can put your logo there on the second plant-based food summit. So you're welcome to provide that support as well, and it will be anyway directly indirectly benefit Brenntag, who are your sole selling distributors in India. So, but you can also build your own branding so that Brenntag can get more business for you. So thank you very much, Romane. And now I would like to go to Sumita Kumari. Amit Kher, I think, is not there in this call. Sumita Kumari, Deputy Manager R&D, Vista Foods, Vista Processed Foods. So, Sumita, are you there? Hi, Sumita.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is Sumita Kumari, and I work on plant-based meat alternatives in the R&D department of Vista Processed Foods, a part of OSI Group company. So I'll just introduce my company. OSI Group and Vista as part of OSI Group in India is a complete solution provider company to leading QSR chains in India like McDonald's, Burger King, Domino's, IKEA. And we also work for, we also manufacture plant-based meat alternatives for companies like Blue Tribe, Imagine Meats, and Tata Consumer Products. So we are a complete solution provider company. Now I'll just start my presentation.
पिताजी देखो मैं लिख रहा हूँ.
Is my presentation visible?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
visible.
Sumita.
Okay.
So I think
So,
if you don't mind, I will have to mute all one more time, Sumita, and then you unmute yourself because
okay,
there's some extra noise coming.
Okay.
Yeah, please unmute yourself now.
So today I'll be speaking on the final product, that is plant-based meat alternative, and a review on texture. The texture is very important to the eater's perception that they're eating meat. Coming to the first point of discussion, which is understanding the role of soy and other ingredients to perfect the texture of plant-based meat. There are three categories which are important and affects the texture of plant-based meat alternative: proteins, oils or fats, and texturizers. Plant proteins, I'll just cover up proteins part first. Plant proteins are mainly derived from cereal and legume crops, and fractionated protein forms includes flours, concentrates, isolates, and hydrolysates. In these flour forms, plant proteins impart full range of functional characteristics like solubility, viscosity, gelling, emulsification, and dough formation, which is an advantage during extrusion for making a texturized vegetable protein. Overall, soy-based ingredients like soy protein, isolated soy protein are the most implemented protein sources in the meat substitutes, followed by pea-based ingredients like pea protein and pea starch. Wheat is also present as a protein source in the form of gluten, but pulses are in general more frequent than grains. Now coming to oils and fats, which is again a very important ingredient for giving an optimal texture and functional properties to the final product. So these includes oils and fats. plant-based oils are typically liquid at ambient temperatures. More heavily saturated plant-based oils such as cocoa butter, coconut oil, and palm oil melt closer to ambient temperatures. So they may be partially solid in most climates. But overall, plant-based fats that are solid at room temperature and exhibit a melting temperature gradient are extremely desirable for application in plant-based meat alternatives. Now coming to the texturizers, these are an important ingredient which compensates for lesser texture profile of plant-based protein meat alternative. And examples include starch, fibers, hydrocolloids like carrageenan and lecithin. Now coming to starch, application of traditional starches like corn, tapioca, potato starch highlight mainly viscosity as a thickening agent, but other starches derived from legumes such as pea starch, which is being currently commonly used in making new products, present gel strength, stabilization, and unique textural influences like replicating the texture of meat products. Further, starch also contributes to better water holding property alongside texture. Coming to fiber, fiber offers a new means of imparting gelation and stringiness while addressing clean label concerns and yielding nutritional benefits. Now coming to hydrocolloids and other binders, which hold together all the other components. And the common binders which are used in plant-based meat alternatives include soy protein isolate, methyl cellulose, and modified starches. Overall, these binders improve the thickening, gelation, and textural properties of end products. So when we talk about plant-based meat, texture can be described as the amount of chewiness, hardness, gumminess, cohesiveness, and springiness of the final product relative to a control, which is here animal meat product. Going to the next slide, where I'll be talking about a few examples of natural ingredients and texturizers currently being used all over the world for texture enhancement. So under proteins, there is a study where pea protein and oat protein combination has been used, and the result was very good texture with improved wettability and stability, and that too over a wide temperature range. Then there is a clean label texturized vegetable protein available under brand ingredient named as Tex Crumbles, which can be explored. Under texturizers, we have native pea starch from Rocket under the brand name Neutralis, which offers unique textural influences in replicating the texture of meat products. Then another ingredient under texturizer is citrus fiber, which improves final product texture and is very freeze-thaw stable. Also minimizes cooking and frying loss. Coming to lecithin, different ingredient which is good which has it is a good emulsifier and give a juicier product taste. We also have ingredient like adhesion starches, which is being used in pre-dust or dip batters or tempura style batters offered by ingredient and Kher. This gives extra crunchiness to coated products which we make like coated patty and coated nuggets. We again have clean label texturizer. These are new. There is a combination of potato starch and potato protein, and this is being provided by a Weave company. And a range of native starches has been developed by ingredient under the brand name Novation range. So there is a novel plant-based fat ingredient under oils and fats named OleoPro, which has been used in a range of alternative protein food products developed by Shiru. This is an artificial intelligence powered discovery and development company from California. And the advantages and functions are that it reduces the sat fat by 90%, forms stable emulsion, and holds its shape at room temperature, and gets brown colored when cooked. So this delivers a juicy, fatty mouthfeel of plant-based meat alternatives. Coming to the next slide, the role of processing techniques and parameters to obtain good texture. Since we are into plant-based meat alternatives as the final product, so we use TVP, both low moisture TVP and high moisture TVP. So there are a few parameters which should be kept in mind during making of plant-based alternatives. For example, under low moisture TVP, the soaking time of low moisture TVP is important. And also the grind size of soaked TVP is important.
Excuse
So
me,
if
ma'am.
the, yeah.
Ma'am, can you turn on your full view mode because the letters are very small.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Now it's visible.
Yeah, you can also switch on your. You can also switch on your video so that
yes,
it's a better, you know.
Yes, sir.
Experience.
So it's video is on. Yeah.
Okay.
So, just a minute. So I'll just continue. I'm not able to find it.
The controls are right on top, on the top.
Just a minute.
Yes. Now it's okay. Can go back to the full mode, full presentation mode.
It's visible?
Yes, it's visible. Everything is fine.
Yeah, so I was talking about plant-based meat alternatives made from low moisture TVP. Here, the soaking time and grind size of soaked TVP is very important. Because if you grind it like the size of the grinded TVP is very less, the final product is a mushy product, which doesn't give good texture. When you tear apart, for example, it's nugget or patty, when you just tear apart to see the texture, it doesn't appear, the threads are not separate and it doesn't give a good appearance. So here, the grind size is very important. Even the emulsification step is important. And the cooling of mix before forming nuggets or patty is important, the temperature, so that it forms properly. And the ingredients like fat, if you're using palm flakes or something, it doesn't come out of the shape. So now if we make products from high moisture TVP, here the thawing time is important along with grind size, emulsification and cooling of mix. So these points should be kept in mind. Coming to challenges in the production of textured plant-based meat, a complaint from customers mostly, or the drawback right now, is that the plant-based meat alternatives products is less chewy as compared to animal counterpart. The reason behind this, animal fat melts slowly over a wide range of temperatures, and thus this gives the product good juiciness, which upon chewing lingers for a long time in your mouth. So the fat selection has to be proper while going forward for making plant-based meat alternatives. Proper emulsification is needed and oleogel formation should be there, which can stabilize and modulate the melting temperature in case of plant-based meat alternatives. Now coming to the last slide, the cross-category inspiration for texture innovation. We all know fermentation is is on the trend, and it's many companies are working towards it and even implemented in their products. For example, there has been study where TVP, textured vegetable proteins, has been fermented using Bacillus subtilis, and this has resulted in improved textural properties like chewiness and layered structure, hardness. There is a company called Quern, which uses mycoproteins from Fusarium venenatum, and this has reduced fat content as compared to other TVPs and has a longer shelf life. Even torula yeast, it has been used as a flavoring agent and as a to provide smoky umami flavor to products. And coming to cross category, the yeast extracts used for meat products has been also used in making plant-based meat alternatives. Now coming to precision fermentation, we all know, we all have heard about precision fermentation. This has been used using microbes and have been genetically engineered to produce specific ingredients, whether it is enzymes or other functional ingredients. Now coming to next, there is a technique called muscle fiber simulation, which has been extensively used by a company called Heroten in China. And these uses plant-based ingredients to replicate muscle fiber from animal meat. And the example is plant-based hybrid beef and pork product. Then again, a different technology which is still under research is 3D printing, which can be used for developing plant-based meat analogs and by modifying the formulation, texture, and shapes of products. But still, research is needed for better understanding of the process. Now coming to cultivated meat or scaffolding, we all have heard about cultivated meat, which is cell-based meat, which uses animal stem cells without killing them and raising the scaffolds. And these have been used by Roslin Technologies in UK, followed by companies like Upside Foods in the US, which uses a cultivated meat technique for making their products. Also, this has been allowed to sell in the Singapore currently by Good Meat from Eat Just. Another two new technologies are shear shell technology, which has been used by Rival Foods in Netherlands, and electrospinning by Tenderfood. A few researchers from Harvard University has developed this, which can spin plant-based protein fibers to mimic the texture of meat. So these are few new processing techniques which are still under research, and few companies have started using this, and we can explore this in the coming future. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumita. So I have the pleasure of bringing in our partner, the research partner, Reenab, report which is being written right now for the second plant-based food summit is a very well awaited document which is being written by Reenab, and they have done extensive work in bringing out a document which is needed by the industry, by the government, and by the international plant-based foods community. So may I bring you now here the CEO, Mr. Anurag.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sanjay, for giving me the opportunity. Yeah, so to begin with, we are a market research and research advisory company. We have more than 14 years of research experience, and we have published various research reports into the food and beverages domain also. So to give you a big feedback, let me share the screen and show our presentation. My screen is visible to everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Yes. Your screen is not visible.
Is it visible now?
Yes, Anurag, we can see the screen. You can keep this on full screen mode.
Sure. Mode.
The bottom there should be two arrows.
Yeah. Is it fine? Are you able to view the full screen mode now?
Not yet.
Are you able to view the slideshow now? I think it should be visible.
Okay, we can work with this. Continue, Anurag.
Sure. So my screen is visible or no?
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
So I'm just starting. So this is our corporate profile. We have more than 14 years of research experience. We have published more than 7,000 syndicated reports and worked on many custom research projects. Currently, we also supply data to EMI, Thomson, Bloomberg, all those companies. So we published syndicated reports are basically based on the market size, validation of market size, then forecasting model is being done for that reports. We do the driver challenges and the segmentation of reports are done by geographic, application size, micro environment analysis also done by pot analysis, spectral analysis, SWOT analysis, these things.
Can you speak louder, Anurag?
Yeah, sure.
Into the
Am
computer.
I audible, right?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Louder, please.
Yeah. So our report basically talks about market outlook projections in the syndicated report model. In the syndicated report model, we talks about the validation of the market forecast models, how the product is doing. Then it's basically divided into segmentation of the application segments by geography. We cover into the reports. We cover macro environment analysis by Potter analysis, spectral analysis, market driver and challenges are being covered into that one segments. If you go to the client has a different query also, they have a different kind of requirements also to us. So they go for a custom research process also, in which we develop a questionnaire according to the parameters of the client. Then we collect the relevant information to the secondary research and collect the data and that one. Then we put the information into a particular format, into a statistical format and a graphical format, where in which way the client is requiring that particular data is. And the final is data is presented into a visualization format into the form of charts, pie graph, and all the other formats. There are some of the services other than that. The research we also offer. We offer also the data supply. That's we have talked earlier that we are currently providing data to Thomson, Bloomberg, as well as to many other research companies also. We provide data to. Then we have a service of social research where we conduct social surveys, trends, rural economy. Then that's a consumer research where consumer behaviors and consumer trends, consumer preferences are being done, and dedicated analyst support is there. That's about dedicated analyst support here. A company, if they can hire one analyst, means multiple analysts at one analyst cost, and invoicing is being done on an hourly basis. So let's say if an analyst is required only for let's say 1 month, so only 176 hours is going to be billed, and not other than that. So it totally depends on how many analyst hours are required and how much analyst hours is going to take for that. So this helps company into a flexibility of the team size. They can increase and decrease their team size based on their requirement and based on their need. And also help company building and then we help these for the company. So these are being covered in the thing that.
Okay, Raj, you're done.
Just a second.
I hope you're finished, right? Because with your screen is anyway was not moving. But thank you for coming in and thank you for taking the initiative to write the report. And anyone who wants that the report should contain certain things that we are likely to miss out, please reach out to us, reach out to Medha. She is coordinating with RENAV Research. And if anyone wants to put their logo, you can sponsor the report. Those opportunities are also available. And with that, I would like to mention that we have a replacement, Shri Milan Darji. Mr. Milan Darji, senior technology from Bühler Group, is going to come in because the previous speaker from Bühler, Amit, is caught up with some other urgency. So Milan, can you please come in?
Yeah, hi Sanjay ji. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Are you able to hear me?
But I can't see you.
Okay, now I think
Yes,
I'm
this is good. Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you so much for inviting me. Actually, one of our colleague, Mr. Amit, is not there, so on behalf of him, I will give some introduction with Bühler.
Yes, and
So
before you start, just in case we forget, Bühler is a very important organization which should be present for the second plant-based food summit. So please do not forget to have a separate conversation with us for providing you the right kind of opportunity to market yourself during the second plant-based food summit and also sponsor it. And second thing, we are coming out with a plant-based food summit, and there will be a closed-door investor meeting on 24th. Those who are investing into the plant-based food summit, plant protein cluster in Bhiwadi. So on 24th, we will have a closed-door meeting somewhere in central Delhi. You kindly also prepare to take part in that. So this information is for you and for anyone else who want to utilize these two opportunity of protein cluster in Bhiwadi, as well as the second plant-based food summit, which is on 25 May at La Meridian Hotel in Windsor Place in New Delhi. Over to you, Dachi. Milan.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is a Milan Darji. Basically, I'm a food technologist from by education, and I'm working in alternative protein solutions since last 7 years. And now I'm with Bühler as a senior technologist for the extrusion technology and especially for the protein solution. So should I share my screen?
Please go ahead. And all those who have shared their screen and presented, requesting you to send your presentations to us. It will bring rich dividends to you. We will do something with your presentation. So please send it to us.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are able to see your screen, and all the people who are listening, you can also send your videos to us. We are making some videos for the plant-based food summit, and those could be part of some of the videos that we are making. So you can send those over to Narhari or to Aditi separately. Continue, Milan.
Yeah. So just a minute. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'll start directly with the extrusion technology. So basically, there are two types of extrusion technology. I don't want to go in detail with the what kind of Bühler solution does have, but I directly go into the protein solution what we have. In extrusion technology, there are two type of technologies available with us, which is one is a cooking extrusion and second one is a cold extrusion. So basically for cooking side, we are applying the heat externally to produce the product. And from the cold side, we don't want to add any heat particular into the product. So by cooking extrusion, we will produce the meat analog. Are you able to see my screen, Sanjay?
Milan, your screen is not moving.
Okay. Just give me a moment.
And you can keep this on full screen mode as well.
Okay. Actually, I have two screens, so
okay.
You can manually change it right now.
It's okay. It's okay. Give me
just
it's okay. Second, so I'll try to. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so there are two type of extrusion cooking solution what we have by heating of the extrusion, which is specially called the cooking extrusion. So we'll make the meat analog, which is specially dry and wet eggs, reconstituted rice, breadcrumbs, pet food, breakfast cereal, and extruded sex. These all are the heating application by the cooking extrusion, and pasta noodles and khaskhas are the cold side of extrusion. So directly going into the protein valuation chain, what we are providing in the solution. So basically, here we are taking the novel raw materials and novel ingredient what my other colleagues are already discussed in the previous presentation. So if it is required, then go for the grinding. Otherwise, we'll take the directly, which is a protein concentrate, isolate or oil seed. And later on, it will be going for the preconditioner, and then it will be going for the extrusion application. So here we are providing the solution, and depending on the extrusion, either it is a dry text, which is a moisture content is around 10 to 11% of the particular product, and then later on it will be going for the dehydration, and you can make the product by adding the marination, flavor, oil, everything. Here we are getting the Vetex product. It is moisture content is around 60 to 70% of the product directly. So here you not need to add anything. You have to add only flavor and other additives, and later it will be going for this direct into the market. And this is the meat analog. So it is based specially for the oat milk and dairy substitutes. So especially for this is a extruded substitute, we have two kind of product. One is a low moisture extruded product, and second one is a high moisture extruded product. So basically the benefit of the low moisture extruded product is you can store very easily for the long term. You can store as environment temperature, environment condition. But if you have the high moisture extrusion, then you have to require the chill storage. But here you can use the directly, and the high moisture meat analog product exactly look like a meat, chicken or fish. But in case of this low moisture extrusion product, so it is not exactly mimic the uh, meat, fish or chicken structure, but it is their benefit also. So that is there. How the low moisture meat analog product can made. So first of all, here we have to choose the raw material. According to the choosing the raw material, it will be going for the preconditioning. Here we are adding little bit of the water, oil if it is required. Then it will be directly going for the extrusion. And this is the cutter. From here, the product is cut according to the shape, and later on it will be going for the drying. And you can store the dry extruded product as atmospheric temperature. And later on, whenever you want to use, you can use after rehydration. So this is basically process flow chart of this low moisture extrusion. This is a various kind of example of the dry extruded product, especially a small pellet, which is one of our colleague was already talk about. This is a protein crispy like. This is a means. This is a chiplet, which is a this is a stacklets. It is after rehydration. It is look like a chicken breast structure. This is a flake. This is a crumble type of structure. This is a uneven chunks. This is some random shape. So you can make n number of shape. You can choose n number of raw material. So by this combination, you can make this kind of dry extruded product. This is some of the upcycle opportunity, which is a very different kind of raw material, which is a pea protein with walnut, pea protein with hemp protein, soya expeller cake, sunflower cake. This is all are some various examples. Now I will move into the high moisture extrusion directly. So here we are choosing the protein ingredient, either it is a soya concentrate, soya isolate, protein isolate, gluten, or any kind of protein powder which is available with us according to our recipe. It will be going for the mixing and dosing. Then later on it will be going for the preconditioning. Here also we are adding some of the moisture content.
Milan, sorry.
Yeah,
Can you ask some of your team members to pull out some video also, which we can show towards the end of this conversation today?
Sure, sure.
Please continue.
Sure. So here we are adding some of the moisture content. Also, we are adding some post extrusion flavor, also post extrusion color also. So whatever we want to add, we can add here. Later on, it will be going for the extrusion, and this is the special design cooling die. So after this cooling die, we'll get this kind of this whole chicken breast type of the product. it will be stored at the chilling temperature. Then later on it will be used after dicing, marination and freezing. You can use. Otherwise it will be go for the grinding, also mixing with any kind of the recipe you want to make. So this is the high moisture extrusion product. The same kind of this process flow chart. We have some limited time, so I'll skip this. This is the also valorized product, which is apple.
We have time. Don't skip.
Okay. So so this is the some value added product, which is absolutely you can use your extruder with any kind of protein. Here we added that apple pulp, which is 12% with the pea protein isolate. Here we added the algae with the pea protein. Here this is a Bühler sprint grain. It is Bühler sprint grain is almost 30 to 35% of the protein content. This is basically soya expeller cake. So these are the all kind of the raw product. Then again it will be going for the marination, flavor addition or color. Then it will be go directly into the market. So this is the raw product. I want to show, this is the very small video. I don't know. Yeah. So this is the cooling die. The product is directly comes out from the cooling die. You can see this is a bright red color product. It will exactly look like a pork. So this kind of product, you after that you have to store. You can see the fibers also. This is just one product and one raw material. So this is called the Polycool 50, which is the name of the cooling die. The capacity of this is 45 kg to 50 kg per hour capacity. And yes, what kind of extrusion technology we are offering here? So this is basically 30 and 42 is a screw diameter. So basically we are offering this to extruder for the lab scale only, and this is the 62, 93 are the production scale facility. This is the 10 to 50 kg, which is called the Polycool 50. This is Polycool 500, and this is Polycool 1000. And recently we commissioned the plant, which is called the BVeg. I think I saw some of our colleague from the BVeg is also there into this call. So I think they will give some more insight about their plant, product, and technology. So this is our solution.
In India, whenever we say BVeg, we have to say Bühler. And whenever we say Bühler, we have to say BVeg.
Absolutely.
So they look like one organization now. I know they are two, but
yeah,
they look like one.
They are two, but I think we are one. Sure. So I'll move. This is interesting technology, and this is a first our patent also. This is called the protein aeration technology. So you can see the two photographs over here. The right upper one is a without aeration technology, and the second one is a with aeration technology. So here we are adding the particular gas, which is called the air, into the product via extruder. So you can see the very small pores into the product. I think so you can see this small pores into the product, and the density of the product is particularly increase due to the gas. So product is very lighter, and whatever the flavor you are adding into the product, whatever the color you are adding into the product, it really exactly going into the more deeper and deeper due to that aeration technology. Sorry. So this is our patented technology. I don't think so anyone having in the world. So that is a latest innovation from our side. And yeah, you can see the very nice photograph. This is called the fish-like structure. It is absolutely available into the India also with the help of BVeg. So yeah, that is all. Thank you.
And I have a question for you, Milan.
Yeah.
Can you display your products at second Plant-Based Food Summit on 25 May? It will be nice for our members to see the technology in full view. Why should why should BVeg have all the fun when others can also buy your technology?
If we'll be present or if BVeg has present, that is anyway, it is absolutely one.
No, it's not one. We want presence from both of you separately because BVeg is a product organization and you are a machinery organization.
Yeah,
So
we are a technology suppliers, yes.
So we want you to explain this maybe through a video, maybe through some of your technology put there. So it's an absolute must because when the whole industry comes and if you don't come, you're missing a big opportunity there.
Sure. No worries. I will discuss with BVeg also, and I'll discuss with my management also. No worries for that.
Yes. So there are going to be 2,500 delegates out there from the industry, and it has never happened. Such a large number of people have come into one place.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. No worries.
Okay. So are you done, Milan? Can we invite the next?
Sure. Thanks.
Can you invite the next speaker? Okay, Pooja Pandore. Pooja is the assistant manager, technical at BVeg Foods. Over to you, Pooja.
Hello, Sanjay. Thank you for having me in the webinar today, and thank you for the audience who has joined the webinar. So I'm a food technologist by background, and I have been associated with the BVeg from last 3 years, and I'm working as an assistant technical manager. And currently I'm looking after the new product development of the high moisture extrusion process. So I just begin with my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, visible, and please share all these presentations.
Yes, sure. So I'll just explain about the BVeg Food. So BVeg Food is a B2B company. So we are located in Delhi. We have our corporate office in Delhi, and we have our facility in Sonipat, Haryana. So
and can you do full screen? Full screen, possible?
In full screen only.
No, in the bottom there is one arrow. If you can right and there are some 2 arrows. If you click those, it will become full screen. There are 2 arrows.
Pooja, it is the lamp.
Please see it again.
Is it visible now?
Okay, we can work with this.
BVeg wise.
Can you see in the bottom next to a blue icon? There was an icon. If you would have, yes, the bottom second last on the right hand side. There are my icons. Can you see in the bottom? I can see. There's an arrow, double arrow. The right hand icon in the bottom, the second last.
I do not see.
Yeah, bring the cursor. Perhaps it appears that panel appears and then goes away. Earlier it appeared for a moment. It has gone away now. So in the bottom.
Pooja, if you can bring cursor near the white area, I think it will appear.
Yeah. Bring the cursor. Or maybe. No.
I think Pooja ma'am is opened in PDF mode. So it should like this only.
No, I think it was.
Pooja, can you go into the presentation first?
Full
Can
screen.
you go into the presentation for?
There is full screen option in view.
Yeah, madam, please go to your presentation, madam. Original presentation. It is a PPT mode, no? Can you open the presentation? I'll guide you.
Can you open the presentation? First? Can you go into the presentation for? 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 First? Can you go into the presen
Is it visible?
No, not yet. You just open the presentation first.
Yeah, so I have just opened my presentation.
And scan,
Okay,
share your screen.
Now share your screen. Okay.
Yes.
Do you see the right bottom? Yes.
Yeah, that
arrow.
one. That one. Click on.
Is it
Thanks.
visible
Yeah,
now?
it's
Yeah,
visible.
sure.
Yeah, it's fine.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to mute everyone. So you have to unmute again, Pooja. Please unmute yourself.
So BVeg food has a legacy of home manufacturing. So we have a cumulative 70 years of experience in the food and agro processing industry with the sister company. So we are acting as a one-stop shop solution to facilitate the entry into the plant-based industry. So we give solution from the starting to the end product. Then we have one of its kind of the machinery in India. So we have India's first high moisture extrusion, which has been explained by Milan as well. And right now we have a production capacity of 4 metric ton per year, which can be boosted up to the 12,000 metric ton. So about the high moisture extrusion technology, it's a efficient method which can convert protein into a fibrous form, which can mimic the texture and the mouthfeel of the meat product. And it's a very versatile technology which can create a variety of texture with the minimum ingredients. So these are the textural variety or the textural diversity that we have created in BVeg. So right now we have a texture variation in the soya-based protein. We have texturate based on the pea protein. We recently have created a fish-like texturate and a minced meat-like texturate. We are also working on the different colors and the form of the HME. So we are making products in the form of chunks. We are getting it in the strips. We are getting the in julienne form or in a mince form. So I would like to explain the different textural attribute for the meat analog. So we have these attribute which we generally use whenever we are explaining the textural terms. So we have hardness, we have cohesiveness, we have springiness, chewiness, and the cutting strength, which are very important when we are comparing the meat analog to the actual meat. These are the factors which affect the textural property of HMMA. So the texture are dependent on the two parts. One is the raw material composition and second is the process parameters. So in raw material composition, the first thing is the protein content of the raw material. So the higher would be the protein content, the more texturized or more fibrous the end product would be. There is a factor of non-protein content in the raw material as well. So the addition of starches and the fibers along with the protein would enhance the fiber formation and will impact the length of the fibers in a HMMA. The end texture of the HMMA also depends on the type of protein source. So soya protein HMA would give a very dense and fibrous texture. But if we compare to the pea protein texturate, it would be a little softer with a shorter fiber. Then we have process parameters. So there are various process parameters which affect directly or indirectly to the texture of the high moisture extruded product. There's the screw speed, there's the temperature profile of the barrel and the cooling die, which impact the final texture, and of course the moisture content of the product. These are some of the research and the innovation that has been kept going on the HMME, whereas in a few of the studies, certain impact of the process parameters as well as ingredient has been studied on the textural attribute of the high moisture extrusion, where it has been observed that the inclusion of certain kind of protein like wheat gluten, ham protein, as well as the fava protein has been observed to show a certain kind of impact and a positive impact in the high moisture extrusion. There are certain innovation going on with the enzymatic treatment of the protein blends before extrusion so that it can enhance the fibrous texture after the extrusion. certain companies are coming up with the inclusion of novel protein sources like white chlorella, which along with the different protein source like pea protein, which is enhancing the fiber formation along with the nutritional enhancement by adding by its inherent source of vitamin B12. Apart from HMME, there are other factors which impact the TVP-based meat and log. So in that, which also has been explained by Sunita, that there are two factors which impact the TVP-based meat and log: raw material composition and the processing step. So from the raw material side, it is very important to choose the right particle size of the TPP and the right hydration ratio to give the desired end texture. The TVP structure plays a very important role because the type of TPP would definitely impact the end product. The binder properties, so choosing the right binder would give the desired texture for the final form products, be it the methyl cellulose or the carrageenan or the blend of them. Processing step plays a very important role in the TVP-based meat analog, be the temperature in which the product has been mixed or the process of the emulsification. All of them impact the TVP-based meat analog texture. So this is the application versatility of the high moisture meat analog. It can be marinated, it can be coated into the breaded form, or it can be battered, it can be used in a gravy, it can be used in a spread, and this can be put it on the sandwiches. It can be used in the biryani, it can be used as a pizza topping, it can be used as kebab, and many more. There's a short video as well, which I like to showcase. I don't know if I have time or not.
You do. Yes, you have. How long is the video?
So it's for only 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes. We'll do it in the end. Okay, in the meantime, I'll call the next speaker. Okay, now inviting Prashi Verma, Flavor Application Technologist from Norex.
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. So my name is Prashi Verma, and I'm working as a flavor application technologist in Norex Flavours Private Limited. So basically, we are
amazing background, Prashi.
Thank you so much, sir. This is our only related to flavors only, as I'm working in flavor part.
Amazing. That's very good.
So just
now I want to visit your office.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir. So basically, we are dealing in flavor and fragrances manufacturing and mint and with the mint byproducts also. So here I'm going to share my slide. I think it's visible.
Yes.
Shall I start, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Texturization of plant protein for plant-based meats and analogs, such as tofu. So role of soya in plant-based meat. It is, we all know it is rich in protein content, and it's under the physiochemical process can be converted into any meat analog. And it having the nutritional benefits also. It is rich in amino acid content, having a low level of saturated fats and the low in cholesterol level. Texturizer for the plant-based meat. The other different ingredients which is used for the texturization, most important are the binders, because plant protein having a low water holding capacity. So in order to hold everything together, we need a binder. It can be in the form of gelling agent, can be stabilizer, emulsifier, and thickening agents. It includes hydrocolloids like methyl cellulose, carrageenan, and so many things are there. As we know, plant having a more rigid surface or rigid tissue and cell than compared to the animal one. So here binding all the ingredients together without any kind of a stabilizer. It's messed up within the product. So in order to give some texture, these binders are added. It is also depend on the protein because every protein is not able to bind in the same tendency that it is used to be. For example, if you go with the oat protein or the rice protein, they are more starch content. So they having a low or the poor emulsifying properties. So protein are used on the base of the emulsifying property. So they are able to bind with these texturizers. Similar the type of fat also. It's not, we have to form a emulsion of fat. We cannot use any simple like coconut oil or anything. We have to form an emulsion of fats. For example, like addition of fibers also. These fibers having both the parts, soluble as well as the non-soluble part. Soluble part used to hold with the water and non-soluble part used to hold with the oil part. And it's used to solidify. And after cooking, it just gives it a solid texture. The parameter of texture optimization, the three more important things, gelation, water holding, and fat hold. Since like in the protein matrix, water and fat are added by the physical or chemical under a chemical conditioning. So they form a microstructural gel. This gel is only decide the texture of the final product under the specific intrinsic and extrinsic factor that can be your pH, temperature, and the functionality of that particular protein. Like preparation of tofu from the soya milk, there is only the traditional method like soaking of soya bean, grinding, filtration, soya milk, and from the soya milk we got the tofu after coagulation. But like if we go for some integrated approach like blanching before the grinding, it will lead to the inactivation of particular enzyme, like that is the lipoxygenase, which is responsible for the oxidation and produce the bitterness. And if we blanch it with the sodium bicarbonate, first of all, it increases the digestibility of that particular protein and also reduce the bitterness. And after grinding, all the insoluble fibers are removed. After filtration, we get the soya milk. And after coagulation, we get the tofu. So here, what is the use? This is the same process which we did, but the two more important points are, after filtration, the addition of tofu tam, it is a Norex soya masker, which is used to mask the off taste and the bitterness which you will get in the soya bean. So it used to be reduced. And after getting the soya milk, we used to coagulate either by the acidification or by the salt. Like Megari is the magnesium chloride. So after coagulation, the products which we receive from the acid side, should be somewhat gritty in texture. But the product which we get coagulation with Megari, it is much smoother and it has a firm structure. The versatility of the tofu, we can use the tofu on behalf of texture in the different applications, such as the silicon tofu, firm tofu, and extra firm. Silicon tofu has a more moisture content compared to firm and extra firm is more rigid in texture. Silicon tofu can be added to smoothie, protein mousse, frozen dessert, drinking yogurt, and pasta sauce in place of mayonnaise. And like firm tofu can be crumbled, it can be stuffed, it can be undergo a salad dressing with the sprouts, taco and pasta. And extra firm baked deep fried. We can deep fried it, you can coat it. Thank you.
Okay, so now I bring in Shiv Müdaliar from Veganta.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Prashi. Shiv.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me here in this masterclass. I was watching there for 2 hours and it's quite interesting. Thank you for all the information that's been given. Sanjay sir is creating such a wonderful platform for all of us and the entire team. So about the technology of this texturization process, which I would like to talk already. Milan, Darji Milan and Pooja Pandure, they both have spoken a lot about Bühler. So much before to Bühler entering into India, maybe since 2017, I can say from Wenger to Klextrol or Coperian. In fact, even I know Amit Kher, everybody from Bühler, all that. Lot of research is done for this high moisture meat analog, and then I've ended up in such a way that whatever the Bühler is producing it right now, that I can offer it here in a make in India process. Can it be a product? Can it be a raw materials, ingredients, and other all stuffs that comes into one basket under the brand of Veganta? It's going to be here for the machinery and product and end D2C and D2E category of a product, which we are going to launching very soon. To witness this, my speech that Sanjay sir has already seen. In fact, PBFIA team has tasted my product in the recent AHAR exhibition at the time. Since it's getting the European technology here and making in India, converting and making a lot of reverse engineering and doing it, it's taking a lot of time. So my delay is launch of my product is delaying for a couple of months more, but sure I will be there for the second plant-based meat summit, which is going to happen in Delhi on 25th of this May. I'm very eagerly working on the best samples for the event. And since there are few techniques which we have developed here in India, nobody has done it. I can say that proudly. I can say that marble effect of the meat and high moisture meat analog is what I'm going to introduce it. Mostly the well-spoken or the very notable organizations in all of the world. Can it be Impossible Food or Beyond Burgers, who are still trying that we have achieved it here, thanks to this all the peer group here in India, like Mr. Sanjay and Mr. Mishra, whoever has helped me to attain this great achievement. And I will come up under the brand name of Veganta with high moisture meat analog. I underline this topic says made in India, in that concept. I would like to bring it very soon here. And then thank you very much for this quick and short this thing. The very reason is that already it's been spoken by all. High moisture meat analog process, texture, raw material, everything. I just would like to say only one thing is it's not just only the screws and barrels of the machinery. It's purely a talent. That's what it makes a lot of a difference here. The machines and materials cannot able to make much of a thing, but we can able to achieve it by an altogether that's going to come very soon to the market. So Veganta will be meeting you all there on 25th of May with plant-based meat summit, or the second summit in Delhi. Okay. If you would like to have anybody want to ask me any questions, that I'll be more than happy to.
I would like to come in here, Shiv, since you are here.
Yes,
Would you like to share your experience of creating that meaty texture? You had brought in your sample, which we had tasted in AHAR. So can you share your experience so that people can benefit from your experience of creating the right kind of texture? Because that's the topic of the day.
Yes. So the texture of this meat analog to achieve is not just only one element here. It's a combination of the screw profiles, and the selection of raw material. This major two things is what is going to result a best texture, in my experience. First, we have tried it from, since we bought from some of the stuff from Switzerland, we tried, it did not happen. After a 1.5 try, then we understood that it's just not only the thing, it's a talent, I can say, which we are bringing into that. Putting into that, it is what kind of a water pressure is required in your twin screw extruder, and where the fourth chamber of a cooling die, what does it has to work with, and what kind of a water circulation it has to work. It's totally a new science. People will say that it is food technology is not a rocket science. Actually, it's a rocket science, sir. I strongly believe that there is a combination of a talent, raw material, and the machine. All these three together, I call it a bunch of know-how. This know-how is very important to achieve the texturization. Hope I have answered your questions, sir.
Okay, yes. So now requesting our last speaker for the day, Varun Gadodia from C-Spire.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Varun, are you there? Okay, I see Varun has not been able to start his.
Hi, Sanjay.
Hi, Varun.
Yeah, I'll just quickly share my screen.
Yes, please.
All right, so is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. It's broken.
Sure.
Now it's okay. Fine.
Good evening, everyone. I think this was a great session from PBFIA to, mainly hear from a lot of panel speakers about the, innovations in the food ingredient space and how, every food ingredient developer is actually supporting the industry to develop healthy plant-based alternatives. So C-Spire, as many of you may know, we are an alternative seafood startup from India, one of the leading companies within the space and taking, like plant-based seafoods to new frontiers. So today I would like to speak about some of the key innovations that we have been doing for past year and a half to get into realistic looking cuts of white fish. So essentially, this is our flagship, whole muscle cut, as you may see on the picture, which we are developing by studying plant tissue structures from a native crop from New Zealand. That's where we started. So essentially, I'll still walk you through, our core product, which is which is made with only using eight plant-based ingredients. Essentially, a combination of pea, rice, and chickpea. Offering a very great texture, as you may see, and made with only 8 ingredients. We are not using any methyl cellulose, any xanthan gum, or any other synthetic, processing aid to develop these textures. That's where comes into a unique structuring process and a novel R&D that we have did in studying the, like materials. So nutrition wise, definitely, soy free. One of the key conditions that we are working is that we have to make plant-based alternatives allergen free. And soy is definitely having those industry problems that, it's associated with all sort of allergens, like some of the other, nutritional factors as well. For the omega-3s, we are harnessing to, ingredients like algae oil derivatives that are offering the EP and the DHA profile. So what's the core proposition for the consumers? Why an average consumer would like to consume these products? Because we can ensure that they will still get the healthy omega-3s, just that they will be derived from algae and some of the other plant-based sources. So our products, currently we are doing a lot of HoReCa promotions in India. We started in Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore soon to be reached, but currently we are in partnering with a lot of, food service restaurant partners in Delhi and Mumbai. Done a lot of consumer trials over past 3 or 4 months, got a lot of, market traction on getting a very high parity on taste, texture, and nutrition. So going back to the slide, why, like today, since we are talking about the key elements when it comes to this product design for plant-based alternatives, I think one, like every developer or food innovator out there have to really think about the product category that one is targeting. And then break down the product category to the various technical parameters that are required and what is expected out of the product, be it nutrition, be it taste. So essentially, when we started working on alternative seafood, we wanted that the product should look as white as possible. At that time, this was in year 2019 and 20, the soy-based ingredients were still offering very dark color products, brown color products, and brown color products are not associated very well with seafood. So we developed a proprietary blend where we are essentially getting a very optimized off-white taste, a very neutral taste profile. Currently, I would say that the soy-based ingredients are developed a lot. They have came too far into the industry that they can offer a very neutral color and almost flavorless ingredients. But 2 years ago, even the soy-based ingredients were highly having the plant protein taste. So as a developer, we thought about what are the key parameters that are very important to us, and then reverse engineer the whole structure and decide our ingredients. Secondly, as consumers in this industry, in the plant-based industry, are highly concerned about all these products are highly processed, they contain n number of additives. From a development perspective, additives are important to put up those textures and put up those structures together. But we decided that we have to go clean label and we have to go very much limited use of ingredients, and that's why we were able to get these beautiful looking textures just by using only 8 ingredients, which are coming from very organic sources. We won't be afraid to name these 8 ingredients on our labels, because when consumers will going to read these labels, they will just identify as very familiar ingredients. That's there. So I think looking into techno functionality of different ingredients, what is the for example, for our products, we need textures, we need a gelling profile, we need a softer texture. We can't work on high moisture extrusion, because high moisture extruded products offer a kind of a bit of a tough texture that is maybe suitable for a pork or a chicken alternative, but maybe not fish. So I think having an understanding of what is the end product expectation is very important, and a good understanding of material science is highly important for any developer who's going to produce plant-based products, be it meat alternatives or any other snacking products or any other plant-based products out there. I'll quickly walk through some of our development plans on what we are working. So we are having key partnerships with some of the very leading research institutes across the world, like Wageningen University and Research in Netherlands, Reddit Institute, leading food science institute in New Zealand. Protein, this is one of the company that we are doing a joint development on synthetic biology-driven products. So fermentation-derived proteins, how the synthetic biology-driven proteins and fats can be used into more sustainable food system. And one of the X Prize challenge, a global competition that we are part of as a semi-finalist company, competing to offer a very realistic textures of fish and chicken. So that's us. We are heavily driven on technology. We are soon going to launch a patent in June around our structuring process, and would be looking at more product launches in key markets towards end of this year. So yeah, that's us. I would like to open up the panel for any questions, and look forward to any questions feedback to the audience.
Okay. Varun, is it over?
Yep. Yes, Sanjay.
Okay, now bringing back Pooja, she has a video. Pooja?
Yes.
Can you play the video, please?
Yes.
There's no sound? There's no sound in the video?
There is. You are not able to hear it?
No. Maybe you remove your headphones.
Should I reshare it?
Yeah, restart it. Restart and remove your headphones in case you're using headphones.
Okay.
Make it bigger first. Yes. Now. But there is no sound then. There is no sound.
Is it audible now?
No, there's no sound. Just look at the sound button. There's one sound button there after the play. Yes, sound is full. And you removed your headphones also, right?
Yes, yes, there's no headphone.
Okay. So you want to show without sound because sound is not playing.
So I can just turn on the subtitles.
Okay, that's also okay. Continue. You can start explaining while something is happening. You can tell us what is happening in the video. Indra, it is time we should go and visit BVeg. You said it is made of rice. I saw something written rice. We should visit this place, Indra.
Yes, sir, definitely.
This is fantastic.
I'm so sorry that the video the sound doesn't play, but I hope the video just showcased about the facility and what we are doing.
Yes, yes, it shows your power, and it's what an amazing facility has come up, and very soon we are coming to your place.
Yes, sure.
Okay, so now we open this floor to whoever wants to come in, and Anuradha, it's your turn now. Dr. Anuradha Nambiar.
Hi everyone.
Yes, yes.
Hi Sanjay.
Hi,
Yeah,
Anuradha.
that was a great session on all the or extruded products from protein. So very nice to know that many products are coming out in the market, which is protein based, and a lot of texturization is happening in this space. And we are looking forward to extract protein from various sources, various raw materials that are available in India, and trying to provide protein that is like what Shiv was talking about, made in India protein powders. Like right now, I think most of the protein powders that we use are getting imported from various other countries. Here, what we are trying to do is try to produce the similar protein with similar functionality what the outside countries are doing. We are trying to produce it in India and trying to provide all the consumers the best protein from the available raw material in India. So that's what our aim is, to provide the best protein possible and give the right ingredient for the texturization process. So that's our main job right now. And the facility, as I said before, is coming up in Kolkata, where we are trying to do R&D on various raw materials. Various raw materials in the sense we are trying to source different raw materials with varied functional attributes other than what is right now there in the market. So hope to have good protein powders with the best functionality and the best flavor profile, so that it gives the best possible texturized product to be launched in the Indian market soon. So that's from my end.
Okay, so now also requesting Moonchand from BVeg. Anupma Sambar. Kajal Anand.
Nothing much, sir, at the moment.
Okay. Look forward to meet you in Delhi, Kajal, on 25th.
Yes, I'll try to make it. Very interesting session today. Really enjoyed it.
Great, welcome. Okay, so who wants to come in now? We have around 50 people in the room still after about 2.5 hours. Okay, so some message has been written by Anupma. Why don't you ask Anupma?
Hello.
Yes, continue.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
So Anupma, identify yourself, and if possible, switch on the video.
Yeah, I am Anupama Senwal from Zippy Edibles.
Okay.
From Uttarakhand, I am a product development manager there, and we are working on the plant-based meat products. So this is very interesting that Anuradha ma'am mentioned that they are working on developing the protein because the raw materials and protein coming from the foreign companies, they're very costly. So we are also interested in that. What would be the functional properties that they are providing and they are costing so much? So why won't we find that raw material in India? So I just want to know that if anyone just want to work on that protein and to want to avoid that costly substrate to buy. So what would be the specific functional properties one should consider to prepare a protein that as a raw material that is generally used as a raw material for developing TVP. So we are working on high moisture meat and also wet TVP. So we just want to very interested to know that what would be the specific functional properties that should be considered to replicate or to develop a protein that we can get in-house or from India rather than go for a foreign company.
Anuradha?
Dr. Anuradha, you're on mute.
Anuradha, you're on mute.
Yeah, so the protein powder that we are trying to manufacture in India would be a higher functionality protein, in the sense the first and the foremost functionality of a protein would be the solubility, where not for the meat process specifically, but in general, the protein should be very soluble in water. And it should be very clear liquid that we get when you dissolve the protein in a solution. So that's the first thing, and first and the foremost thing that we are aiming at, to get a soluble protein with the clarity when you make a solution out of it. And then, as the previous speakers were talking about, the water binding capacity and the gelation property of the protein should be very high to get a best textured protein for the meat application. So these are some of the few functionalities that we are also trying to improve in the protein. And this comes only from the extraction, only from controlling the various parameters when you extract the protein out of the raw material. So that's where we are focusing on right now, like what are the steps we should focus on to get the best functional protein, so that you can have a wider application for the proteins in food application. Not just the meat application, but as an ingredient, it should go into various applications, like in beverage, in fruit juices, and whatever it is. So the protein should be a very soluble protein with the best functionality. That is, with the water binding capacity or emulsification capacity, you should have the best protein. For that, you should get the least denatured protein during your manufacturing process, and that comes only from controlling the various parameters like the pH and the temperature and the water that you use. So there are various parameters that goes into the extraction process, which has to be controlled to get the best possible protein out.
Okay, so protein should not be denatured so much. So I thought during extrusion process, there is a very high shear pressure and high temperature. So during that process, protein tends to get denatured so that it can form a bonding between the molecules to prepare fibers like texture. So when you just do the functional property testing, so we should also mimic that environment also, like in extrusion there is a very high shear pressure and high temperature also. So while we are testing for the functional properties, like you mentioned, like water holding, solubility, the properties, gel strength. So we should also give that treatment as a raw material also to test the functionality in that environment, like high shear pressure and high temperature. So these parameters these environment can also change the properties of protein, like high pressure and high temperature.
Can you repeat the question? I did not get that.
Yeah, I mean to say, like if we just do the functional testing of functional properties of any protein as a raw material, So when that protein exposes to the high shear pressure and temperature environment, like during the extrusion process, so the properties gets changed of properties of the protein gets changed during the extrusion process due to high temperature and pressure. So if we want to know the functional property of any protein to decide whether it is useful for us or not, so we should also consider that environment also while testing it. Like we should we also, I think I need to ask you, should we also give that treatment to that protein so that we can decide it, that protein is useful when we use it during extrusion, because it will expose to that environment, high temperature and pressure.
Yeah, definitely. So all the proteins that are there in the market doesn't give you the same structure or same meat-like structure when you do extrusion. So when you extract a protein or when you decide for a protein to go into an extrusion process, first you should try to do that in your lab, like whether that protein is actually whether that protein will give you the right texture. So in our lab, we also used to do this, like certain proteins, when you give cooking, high temperature process, it forms a gel. So the gelling capacity of the protein plays a very important role even in texturization. Not all the proteins are the same when you talk about the gelling capacity. Some proteins give you a very gel-like structure when you give high temperature. So there is a gelling capacity functionality study for the protein in the lab, where you give different percentages of protein solution. When you treat the different percentages of solution to different temperature, how it forms a gel, whether it forms at 10%, whether it forms at 12%, whether it forms at 14%. So there's a range of percentages of protein that you take in a test tube, and you can test this, whether the protein forms a gel and at what temperature does the protein form a gel. So that functionality is very important before even you decide like which protein should go into the texturization process. So that functionality can be tested in a lab before you try to go for the larger scale.
Okay. Yeah, that is very good suggestion and very useful. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
One more thing is there any technique to measure that the denaturation level of denaturation of the protein, just for knowledge purpose? Is there any technique to measure the level of denaturation of the protein, like at this temperature or at this environment it gets denaturation?
So if you're talking at a molecular level of denaturation, definitely you can go for the melting temperature of the protein, because there will be a change in the melting temperature of the protein based on the denaturation of the protein that you have. So that's at a molecular level what I'm speaking about. And you can also do a circular dichroic spectra, CD spectra, and see what is the helix and what is the alpha level, or what are the different secondary structures that the protein have. So these are basic tests that you can do in a lab to find out if the protein is really getting denatured or not.
And usually you experience that in the day-to-day, this denaturation happening
during the manufacturing process.
During the manufacturing of isolates and TVP.
Yes, definitely, because when you do the extraction and when the temperature is not below the melting temperature of the protein, definitely there is a denaturation of protein. And this melting temperature is very specific for the specific protein. It may not be the same for all the proteins. Some will be at 60, some will be at 55. So you should definitely know what is the melting temperature of your protein before you apply that particular temperature during your extraction process.
And which one has the highest temperature withholding capacity?
Highest temperature goes to for lentil protein, that is a horse gram protein which I have extracted, and the least goes with the chickpea protein that is very low, that is at 55 degrees Celsius. The melting temperature starts from there.
Can you tell me some more? Chickpea at 55 and lentil at 85, you said?
Yeah, chickpea 55. Then comes the even the canola sunflower protein, which is at 60, 65, and the lentil at 70, 75.
And what about the major, that is pea and soy, the ingredients that we use?
Soya, I have not done because I don't do the manufacturing of the soya protein. I mean, I don't have the experience in doing that. But we have done the non-soya based sources like chickpea, canola, sunflower seed protein, and the
And
yellow
pea.
peas. Yeah, yellow
And
peas. The yellow peas
pea.
definitely not very high melting temperature. It is around 60, 63.
And soy, any idea how much it would be?
Soya, I think it should be around 70, 72. It's little higher.
So is that the reason, or there are some other reason why soya is being preferred by the plant-based foods industry so far?
No, even right now, even pea protein is also being used as a texturized protein because soybean protein was mostly used from the beginning. Like that was a protein much available from the initial time. So that's
And
the
the
reason that
color
was only
and
protein.
the color of
Uh,
soybean was also a reason.
yeah, color of white, as initially somebody was speaking about, like soya protein also was not available in the right color that they wanted, like that fillet fish mimicking protein. So they wanted some lighter color protein. Only recently the soya protein has become off-white or yellowish shade. Previously, when the temperature goes very high, the protein changes its color. So some proteins are very prone to the temperature of your manufacturing process,
And
and some protein. Yeah.
is it also having any bearing because of the being on the higher on the nutritional profile in terms of all 9 amino acids? Is it also playing a role in soya becoming popular initially? Okay, we think Anuradha just dropped off. Anybody has any comment on the topic which Anupma started just now? You can come in now.
I would like to say something
Yes,
here
please.
that it is Dr. Anupama was saying was absolutely right. The reason soybean and pea protein have become much better. Otherwise, if you look at it a couple of years back, those products were not at all suitable. The temperature increased and the high moisture process or TVP drying process or any kind of a small abuse in the techniques, the decoloration will happen. The end product will not achieve the quality of it. So there is a scientific analysis is very important in connection with this PLC controls. I agree with Madam what she's saying.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now I want to ask, other than Shiv, anybody else who would like to say? Anything on this subject? Okay. Any other question or comment? Punchan? Punachan? Yes, please switch on your video and enlighten us and tell the audience that such a big expert is hiding amongst the audience.
See,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I have a net problem actually here. It's coming in splits.
But we can hear.
Yeah, could you kindly restate this thing?
So I'm saying, why are you hiding amongst the audience? You are a great expert, so we would like to hear it from you.
No. As I told you, I have a very poor signal here, and it's breaking in between. I'm actually sitting in middle of where a lot of work is happening. That's why I didn't switch on my videos and audios also. You'll hear a lot of hammering sounds in the background.
Okay, that's fine, Pranachan. So your views were received very well through Puja.
Yeah. So actually, whatever Puja presented, we have gone through together. So I don't think I'll be able to add anything more on that, but would be happy to take any specific questions or generic questions over that, either Puja or myself.
No, Now we were talking about soybean, that why it became popular in the beginning. One was the off color and yellowish color, and second was the nutrition profile of being all 9 amino acids being present there. Third was the affordability. Do you have any other comment to make on that topic?
Yeah, I think this is a general question among everybody. One simple reason why soy is simple commercial availability. The crop production and the processing capacity is available compared to the other sources. Number one. And number two, soy as a food, unlike the other proteins, maybe pea proteins, fava beans and all. So they are actually consumed in the food cycle also, unlike soybean. So that's one reason. And I think soy protein has been in focus for food applications or meat applications almost 5-6 decades hence. So that's one single reason why soy is more preferable in that sense. It's the supply chain efficiencies and the production efficiencies. Coming to the nutrition part, yes, it all depends on the crop and the processing. These are the two main criteria. The same crop every year may not yield the same amino acid composition unless the weathers are favorable, the harvesting practices are sustainable. So therefore, a lot of back-end investment is required, which unfortunately we are not having in India. Our focus in India has been more into the edible oil industry rather than a protein industry. So unless you focus from the value chain, starting from the farms and the farming practices, it would be difficult to guarantee a sustained quality with a specific functional property batch after batch, year after year. So that's another reason where some of these big companies have invested a lot into backend, into supply chain and even the agricultural practices. So that's where there is some amount of sustainability or some amount of guarantee in terms of specifications is available. So it's very important. You can say soy protein isolate is good, but not every soy protein isolate would be good. So we'll have to be careful on from where the crop has been taken and how it has been processed and handled. So these are some of the things which are important criterion. Like somebody was asking before about how to test a protein before we put into the extrusion. What is its properties, whether it will lose its qualities in the high temperature zones in extruders. Yes, there's a lot of testing and correlation of the protein quality to expected textural qualities after extrusion. That is something which is we are also not seeing a lot of information available. So there is a need to develop that kind of information. There is a little information in bits and pieces, but if somebody gives me a protein powder and say it's a new protein powder, can you use it? So we'll have to put it into our bowler system to take out an HME, and by the time you know whether it's working or not working, you have already spent some hundreds of kilos of protein wasted. So we need some methodologies whereby you can test these proteins and predict its behavior in the extruder and the texture that is going to be. So this is some information I think which is people are already working on. So these are the two comments I will make.
Okay, great. I think it was very useful. So now asking Ambika or Rajesh Pradhan or anyone else who would like to come in. Indra, you would like to say something on this discussion that we were having? Indra, you're on the mute.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Now am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. In terms of sorry, I think I will. We first all have to agree with what Mr. Purnachand had just mentioned, that it does not matter if it's just soy protein isolate, because there are different qualities, different functional properties of soy protein isolate, and not all are equal. So it is equally important to evaluate your raw material before you go to the manufacturing part of it. And I think one reason why soy protein also has been quite often used is that, like I mentioned during the start of the presentation, was um, it's because of its very suitable functional properties, which helps it to be very closely mimic meat, like what Dr. Anuradha also mentioned. One thing is the gelation. So the least gelation concentration as well. It is soy protein. The soy protein has this very good ability and also stability of formation of gelation, and also emulsion stability. And the gel network that it is formed during this heating process itself can mimic the texture, and also different textural properties like chewiness of plant-based of the meat, actual meat. And such functional properties, once again I would like to mention, it is not that all the soy protein isolates or concentrates should possess these qualities. It also depends highly upon how you extract your protein, and what is again the origin of this soybean and other things as well. So I think it is highly important first to, I think many ingredient manufacturers will beforehand provide these data, and it is also very important for anyone new venturing into this sector would have to evaluate first before going ahead with any one ingredient. So there's going to be a lot of mix and match, and also a lot of trials that will have to be taking place. But eventually the ingredient that you finalize will actually be very would possess very high superior functional properties, which can help you actually mimic very closely the texture of animal-based meat.
Okay, so anyone else would like to say anything now? Or anybody has the question about the 25th May Plant-Based Food Summit? Thank you very much to our sponsors, Brenntag, for organizing this great masterclass. So all the speakers, you have been amazing, starting with Lokesh and Romane and everyone. It was fantastic. We have been around for almost 3 hours now, and your chance to ask any further question is now. All the speakers, it will be great if you will share your presentations with us. In any case, we have recorded the whole session, so there's nothing to hide anything. We already have in the video form. It will be great if you share it with us in the form of a presentation. We will use it to highlight you in the best possible way. And those who want their videos to be played at the summit or before that, you can share some of your video clips. We will develop it into a nice reel, a short, nice reel of 2-3 minutes, even if you give us a long video. So this can be utilized not just for social media promotion for you, but also during the summit. So the summit, as I said earlier, has conference, exhibition, tastings, awards, pitch sessions for investments, and also display opportunities. You will have, of course, the conference and an opportunity to interact with various kinds of distributors and retailers, restaurant owners, government officials, scientists, everybody from the plant-based food industry. You can reach out to Medha, Aditi, Indra, Narhari Gupta. We also have a short-term partner. Her name is Deva. I don't know whether she is present here today, but she would also be reaching out to you so that if you have any interest in sponsorship, please do take a booth, but you cannot not attend or not display your food products at this amazing opportunity, because this will be the biggest opportunity in the entire plant-based food industry ever. So there will be about 2,500 delegates over there. That's what we are targeting with all our effort. You are requested to share your email databases with us. You are requested to also give us ideas how the message can go. As plant-based food industry members, you have a responsibility here to spread the message so that large number of right kind of industry delegates attend this. It's a free to attend for the plant-based foods industry members. So be a member. Those who have not paid the subscription and not renewed it, please send it. Without this money, how can we do this event, which is going to cost the industry about 50 lakhs? So from where the money will come? Government only gives a little bit. So last time we had done the summit and we got the money only now. So that means the money was stuck with the government for a long time. So you need a cash flow, organize events like this so that your business can grow. If we were to take a stock take of what happened over the last year, a lot of people got funded, a lot of people increased their business. So this year as well, those who will come to the plant-based food summit, they will grow their business exponentially. So if there's no more question from here, I can now request my